Welcome to Tina's Joyful Kitchen. So happy to have you here today. We're going to cook up a storm of organic plant-based foods today, and we're going to have a blast. We're going to have such a good time. Before we get started, I want to just say, hey, if the internet goes out, don't worry, we'll be back in a few minutes. Every time I say that, nothing happens, so I just have to say it. The other thing is, if you've got, I know that when we multitask, we literally experience less joy. And I insist that we are here on this earth for joy. So I'm going to ask a favor, get your phones, turn them on silent, close out of your browsers, and be with me 100%. And I promise you will experience a lot of fun and joy with me today. So if you're ready to get started and you're in to be with me 100%, go ahead and type I'm in the chat. CCBS, Essex in Maryland. Hello, Tabitha. Hello, Caitlin. Very good. Thank you so much. Let me introduce myself super duper quick. My name is Tina McDermott. I call myself the inspirational lazy chef. I'm a speaker and I'm a weight loss coach. I've been doing this for 20 plus years. This is my love. This is my passion. And there's literally no place that I'd rather be than right here, right now, in my kitchen, teaching you how you can live a life that's healthy, that's vibrant, that's free, and you can find joy in the kitchen, even if you don't know how to cook or like to cook. All right. So if you're ready to get started, hit start, get started in that chat. Hit start, get started in that chat box. Go ahead and hit get started in that chat box. Oh, let me tell you what we're going to make. Maybe I should start with, let me tell you what we're going to make as I'm getting stuff started here. We are going to make some ratatouille. You don't have to roll your R's. It's all good. We're going to make some ratatouille over here on the left side. And on my right side, we're going to be making some yellow squash soup. And I was in a little conundrum today. Which one should I start first? Should I do the dessert first? Should I do the ratatouille, the yellow squash soup? So I made a decision that I'm going to make the ratatouille and the yellow squash soup all at the same time. The blueberry cobbler, we're going to do that last. That's just the way it's going to be. All right. Thank you so much. So we're going to get started with cutting up some onions. Ratatouille basically is a stew of vegetables. But the difference here is A, we're going to have all organic vegetables. B, we're going to make this wonderful cashew lemony cream for the top. I grew up making the ratatouille, but never with this wonderful cashew cream, which is delicious, absolutely delicious. And everything always starts, not everything in the world, but we're going to start it off with throwing some onions in some olive oil. So I already have some olive oil in each of my pots. And I'm going to get my very sharp knife, get my fingers out of the way, and I'm going to chop up my onions and put them into that hot olive oil as it is cooking up in there. Oh, you heard that sizzle? It's sizzling away. So we're going to do half an onion in each, and then I'll cut up the other onion and we'll do the other half in each. Okay, here we go. Now, if you want to know how to cut up an onion without crying, type cry in the chat. And in my second onion, I'll teach you how to do that. If you want to know how to cut up an onion without crying, type cry in that chat box. Type cry in that chat box. If I don't see you say hit cry, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Okay. All right. I lied. Let me do it anyway. So here we go. I've got an onion, and you see the hair? That's the bulb that goes into the ground. But that's the bulb that they say is going to make you cry. Let's get a close up, and I'm going to show you. We're going to cut that bulb out. Okay, you're going to get your paring knife, and you're going to go in at it. Don't hold it like so, because you could slice your finger. Don't do that. Hold it like so. Get in there at an angle, and you're going to go around. I'm right-handed, so I hope you can see this okay. And you're going to cut that bulb out. You see that bulb? They say that this is what makes you cry. Throw it away. Get rid of it. You don't want that. Now let's get rid of that paper on the outside. Trying to do this nice and quick. And I'm going to show you how to slice an onion that you don't have to do it my way, because I'm going to show you a safe way. I should have showed you that to begin with. A very safe way to cut your onion. Remember, round things, they're slippery. Make them flat. crunch your fingers in, cut it in half, make it flat. Now, if I slice it like so, they'll slipper all over the place. Slipper, that's not really the term. So I'm going to score my onion. I'm not going to cut it all the way through. You see how now they're not going to slip around? And now I can cut it without the onion going all over the place. That last piece that didn't get scored, you just chop it like so. There we go. We're going to throw it right into our stew over here. And we're going to throw it. I'm going to do the other one my way. Don't do it this way. Do it the other way. Be a little safer, but this is a little quicker for me right now because I'm trying to get a little quick. Okay, very good. If you're just joining us, how many people do we have participating, Caitlin? Go ahead and type that number in the chat for me so I can see it and I know who is with us. Okay, on my right is an Instant Pot. I have it on saute mode. Over here, I've got an induction burner with a cast iron stock pot. Okay, all right. Thank you, dear. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So we're going to get some fresh garlic, And what you want to do is get the back of a knife and press it down. Oh, this must be really fresh because it's hard to press. You're going to press it down. We're going to do 2 cloves per pot. 2 cloves per pot. Here we go. And after you've pressed it, get your paring knife, get to the bottom part, peel it off, and the entire peel should come right off. Now, why do you think that we need to be eating raw garlic? Raw garlic is full of immune boosting properties, and we know that we need to boost our immune system as much as possible these days. And garlic, fresh garlic, is full of it's antiviral, antimicrobial, and antibacterial. And those are things that we need. When we use jarred garlic or the powdered garlic, you're actually losing out on all of those immune boosting properties because they get heated out. The heat has destroyed them. I'm not talking the high heat from the heat from cooking in a soup or a stew. I'm talking high heat from the very, very, very high heat, high temperatures, hundreds and hundreds of degrees when they process it, okay? And they make it powdered or they put it in a jar. So you noticed over here, I threw the whole clove in because I'm gonna puree it later. This one, I chopped it up roughly. I roughly chopped it up. Okay, so next, what are we gonna do next? We've got this, is it on saute? Yep, we got that on saute. We've got this cooking up over here. I had to turn it down, so I want to hear a little bit more sizzling going on. Next, we're going to we threw in the onions. We got the garlic. I want to throw in eggplant next. Let's talk about eggplant. Some eggplants have more seeds in them than others. Seeds equal bitter. So how do you tell which ones have seeds and which ones don't? My cousin taught me. You see how that's long on the bottom there? That's the female, and she has a lot of seeds in her. And you see that's just one little dot. I don't know if you can see that really. Yeah, you could probably see that. That one dot in the middle, that's a male, and it has less seeds, less bitter. So if you can, choose the male eggplants if you want less seeds and less bitterness, okay? And I am peeling it. You can get a vegetable peeler if you want. I am just using my paring knife. I'm used to using paring knives. That one wasn't sharp enough, so I'm just getting one that's a little sharper. A sharp knife is a safe knife. A dull knife is a dangerous knife. So make sure you get your knives sharpened twice a year. Twice a year I get mine sharpened. My dad's an old-fashioned barber, and he sharpens my knives for me. He loves to do it. Any chance to do something that's fun for his daughter. And I show him some of I'm on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. It's Tina's Joyful Kitchen on YouTube. And when I show him, he's like, oh my gosh, you're on TV. Well, actually I am on Montgomery cable television as well. And he gets so excited that he can help me with this stuff. So remember, round things, I made the round thing flat, right? I made the round thing flat, and I'm just cutting that in kind of slices. And now I'm going to cut it in chunks. I'm going to cut them in chunks. Here we go. And more chunks. Now, you can be cathartic like my sister and cut up all your vegetables ahead of time and then start cooking. But, you know, as the onions are cooking, start chopping up the rest of the food. Start chopping up the rest of the food. It's easier. The yellow squash soup is not going to have eggplant in it. It's just going to have yellow squash and carrots. So I'll get to that next. Okay, eggplant, done. We only need one eggplant in there. And if a recipe calls for 1 cup of something, you know, that's ridiculous. An eggplant is an eggplant. Throw the whole eggplant in there, okay? Now, I washed up my zucchini, my yellow squash already, and because I'm going to puree my yellow squash soup, I am not going to worry about how big or how small my yellow squash is. I'm just going to do big chunks, and I'm going to pour them in there, okay? Not pour them, I'm going to throw them in there. Big chunks, throw them in, get rid of the ends, and there we go. Just going to put them in there. Big chunks are perfectly fine. I'm going to do 3 yellow squash. Get the butts off, and here we go. Oh, I know what I did wrong. I thought I hit saute and I hit slow cook. Oh, silly me. No wonder it's not sizzling on me. Always check. Now, this recipe that I'm making in the Instant Pot, you can easily do this on a stove pot. Everything you do is exactly the same, except for once you put the broth in there, the cooking time is 15, 20 minutes. And the cooking time here in the Instant Pot is just going to be 8 minutes. So that's the only difference. So I don't want you to be like, oh, she's making an Instant Pot and I don't have an Instant Pot. If you have an Instant Pot, you can do it exactly the way I'm doing it. I'm going to throw in 2 carrots. Again, I'm just going to make big chunks of it. If you're making this on the stove top, you probably want to do maybe some smaller pieces. It'll cook a little easier. But the pressure cooker will cook these big pieces, no problem. Now, here, I'm cutting it against my thumb because I've been taught to do that my whole life. You can do it on a cutting board as well. Okay, you can cut them on the cutting board. What am I missing? I've got squash, carrots, onions, garlic. Put a little olive oil in there. Let that cook up for just a few more moments, and we'll get back to that. We'll put the spices and we'll get that cooking. But while that's going, I'm going to put some zucchini over here and my ratatouille. Okay, round things, what do? We make them flat. Round things, we make them flat. Now, the ratatouille is not going to be pureed, so I want to make chunks. You know, in culinary school, they teach you consistency of cut. Everything needs to be the same size because it'll cook equally. There's a lot of truth to that, but there's also, I don't have time for that. Do you have time for that? Do you have time to make everything the same size? And do you have the patience for that? I do not have the patience for that. Next, I'm going to put a pepper in there. Oh, I should have put another zucchini. I'm going to put a pepper in there. See what I did? I just scored and took that out so that most of the seeds come out all at once like that. I'm going to wash that and get the rest of the seeds out. Okay. There we go. You don't want the seeds. I mean, they're not going to hurt you. They're not going to harm you. They could be bitter, and you just don't want that bitterness in your ratatouille. You do not want that bitterness. So once again, remember, it was kind of roundish. I made it kind of flat-ish. And here we go. I'm making some nice chunks in there. Throw it all in. Cooking is not difficult. Cooking is not difficult. It is a matter of planning and learning a couple of tricks, learning a couple of things. And that's what I'm here to teach you, a couple of those things. Let me put one more zucchini in the ratatouille, and then we'll put the seasoning over here in this soup, and we'll get the lid on, okay? Do one more like this. Because once you have everything planned out, once you have everything out on your counter, cooking can take no more than 30 minutes. No more, that's it. No more than 30 minutes to get food on the table. And then the beauty is when you make things like soups and stews, you can eat it more than once. My mom would say, cook once, eat twice. But I cook once and eat thrice or more, okay? stir that up. I'm going to put a little bit of sea salt in there. Sea salt is full of minerals, okay, that are really, really good for you, that you need. So a little sea salt. I think I'm going to put a little bit more olive oil in there so it doesn't stick. I'm Italian. The more olive oil, the better, you know? Okay. This is almost ready to be cooked. We're going to put some seasonings in here, and then we're going to, here, let me do the broth first. It's organic and plant-based, our menu today. So I'm going to use a vegetable broth. I'm also going to use an organic vegetable broth. Why? Because most broths, stocks, bouillons have MSG in it. And you're like, really? And I'm like, yeah, really. MSG is an excitotoxin, and it's hidden under 100 plus different words that we don't know because they're ambiguous, like the words natural flavors, autolyzed yeast extract, things that you would spices, the word spices, all MSG. And the terrible part about MSG is that it crosses that blood-brain barrier and goes to the brain cells that are most susceptible and excite them so much that they die. Hence, they're called an excitotoxin. Okay, so we do not want excitotoxins in our life. And that's why if you go organic with your spices and with your stocks and broths, you are sure not to get the MSG. October is also breast cancer or cancer awareness month. And I just want you to be aware that we want to prevent cancer in the first place. And that means we need to eat 10 to 12 cups of vegetables a day, 10 to 12 cups of vegetables a day. Now, you can easily buy yourself, I get this in bulk from the organic market, some curry. Curry, it's got a blend of different spices. There's all different kinds of curries that are out there. And the blend is going to be kind of similar to what I'm going to make right now. Or you can just put your blend together. When you buy it in the bulk section, for the most part, especially if it's organic, it will not have MSG. Now, I'm going to just get a little container and I'm going to mix my spices. Let me just check my recipe, make sure. So we're going to do coriander. Where's my coriander? Coriander comes from the cilantro plant. Oh, this is a brand new coriander. I need to open it up still. Okay, so we're going to do a teaspoon of coriander, maybe a scant teaspoon of coriander. And if you wanted to, you could always make triple, quadruple of this batch and use it over and over again. About a half a teaspoon of turmeric. I do not measure very well, not a good measurer. Some mustard powder, about a quarter teaspoon of mustard powder. If you've noticed, I'm actually using a teaspoon measure and doing whatever I feel, just because that's what I do. And we're going to do some smoked paprika and a little bit of cinnamon. A little bit of cinnamon is wonderful in this soup. Smoked paprika, it's my favorite. My sister hates it, but oh well, it's not for her. We're just going to do a little half a teaspoon of some smoked paprika. I love that smoky flavor. There's also smoked salts. You can get smoked salts for that. I'm mixing it up. There's a couple of little lumpy dumps in there. I'm putting a half a teaspoon of some salt. If you wanted to, you can put a little cayenne pepper in there, make it a little on the spicy side. Last time I made this soup, I used my curry powder, which my curry powder is super spicy. So I'm not going to use that this time because you could always add spice. You can't take it away. So there we go. I've got all the spices in there. Let me make sure I've got everything in there. Yep. For now, let me mix this up real quick. Okay, got the spices. They're all mixed up with, oh, how many carrots did I put in there? I think I only put 1 carrot, right? Did I put 1 carrot? Did I put 2 carrots? I want a little bit more carrot. I like carrot. Okay, a little bit more carrot. And if you were cooking this on the stovetop, I would bring it up to a boil and cook it for 15 minutes until the vegetables are soft. Maybe it might be 20 minutes. It depends on how high you have your heat. With my Instant Pot, I'm going to make sure that I have my seal properly inserted, because I always take that out at the end and wash it. Seal my lid. I'm going to put it to closed, the vent to close. And then I'm going to turn this on. Here, let me cancel saute. Now I'm going to turn it on for 8 minutes. Okay. Now it's going to beep to tell me that it's on. It's going to take some time to come up to pressure. I'm going to turn this lower. And then once it's up to pressure, it's going to start that 8-minute timer. Okay. So even though you're putting it on for 8 minutes, it might take 20, 25 minutes to cook. Okay. Hopefully that'll be done by the time we are ready for it. Okay. Let's put these spices away. Okay. All right, what else do we have going on here? Let me put the lid on my coriander. And I didn't put pepper in there. Sometimes pepper makes me cough, but I would absolutely put some white pepper because it's a darker soup. Okay, and then we're gonna get an immersion blender and we're gonna blend it up in the immersion blender when it's done, So let's go to our ratatouille. What do we have in our ratatouille? We have onions, garlic, eggplant, zucchini, pepper. I put a pepper in here. If you want 2 peppers, put 2 peppers. Next, I'm going to put in some tomatoes. I'm going to put in some tomatoes. This is a tomato from my garden. You know what? I think you can do fresh tomatoes. And I think I want to eat this just by itself, fresh. And I think I'm going to put in a can of tomatoes. These are roasted tomatoes. They are organic. And it says on the label BPA free. What that means is that the inside of the can is not lined with that dangerous plastic, okay? And that's what you want. If you have organic, it's likely BPA free. So again, you can do, I'm gonna put those 2 tomatoes in there and I'm gonna put a can of fire roasted tomatoes using my handy dandy, wonderful Pampered Chef can opener. Love my Pampered Chef can opener, but sometimes I have to go around it twice. The beauty of it is that the lid does not sink into the tomatoes. And do you disinfect your lid? Many people do not. And if the lid falls into the tomatoes, then all that bacteria, whatever was on the lid, goes right in. All right, here we go. I'm going to add those tomatoes right into my stew. If you need a little liquid, my mom always taught me, put a little liquid in the can of tomatoes, just a little bit. There's like a tablespoon in there, and clean out the rest of the tomatoes that were in the can. Okay, there you go. I'm going to throw these other 2 tomatoes that I don't think I want to eat. Just going to chop those up and throw them right in there. Who here has a garden? If you have a garden, let me know. I have a garden that I didn't tend to as well as I normally tend to my garden. And my tomatoes don't look that great. The tomato that you did see was from my sister's garden. It's all good. All right, tomatoes in the pot they go. So while this is cooking, let's talk. Oh, we have to put some herbs in here. Let me put some herbs in there. Give me a moment. Okay. Let's talk about why plant-based, right? Why is plant-based anti-cancer? Now, as I do that, what I'm going to do, I've got some thyme that I picked fresh yesterday from my good friend's plant. And I can either throw these full sprigs in there or try to pick the little leaves off. But you know what? It's going to be very difficult for me to pick these leaves off. So I'm going to put the full stems in there, and I will pick them out later. Why plant-based for cancer prevention? I'm not against meat. I fully advocate that you eat some meat. However, when you're eating meat, you make sure that it's sustainable. What I did is I got the basil leaves and I just rolled them up, and I'm just chopping them up. Okay, and I'll put those in there. There we go. You want to make sure it's sustainable. So I get grass-fed, grass-finished beef from a local farmer, and I get pastured pork. You can get that. I get it online. So I'm pastured chickens, right, that are raised with really good food, no antibiotics in their food, wild caught fish. And you only need 4 ounces. But the problem with animal protein is that it builds up mucus in our system, and our body has a hard time to eliminate that mucus if you're eating way too much. We only need 4 to 6 ounces per meal. So 4 ounces for a woman, 6 ounces for a guy for the most part. But if you look at the palm of your hand, because, hey, you could be, it doesn't matter. Look at the palm of your hand, and this palm is about how much protein that you need or not. If you are plant-based, all you need to do is mix your vegetables. Mix 2 or 3 vegetables together, and see, not one vegetable, except for a couple of them, like soy has a complete protein, but for the most part, vegetables are not a complete protein because they don't have all the amino acids that make a protein. But when you put 2 vegetables together, this might have 6, this might have a different 6. You put them together and they make the complete, I think it's 9 amino acids to make the protein. So eat in tandem. Don't eat your vegetables alone. Don't eat your vegetables alone. Now, let's do a close-up. I want to make sure that you see this. I'm just going to move this over. Sorry, my induction burner is going to scream at me for a moment. But I want you to see how this is cooking and how beautiful this looks. This will probably be another 10 minutes in cooking. All right, let me put this back because my induction burner is having a conniption on me. I feel like it needs a little bit more liquid, I'll put a little more water in there, just a little. Obviously, I'm cooking this on the stove top. I'm stirring it constantly. It should cook from the time you start the onions to the time you're finished, 25 minutes, something like that. Okay. Again, remember at the end to take those sprigs of thyme out, or whatever. When you serve it, take it out. I mean, it's not a fancy dancy restaurant. This is quick, healthy, wholesome food for you and your family. And gotta have your wooden spoon. Gotta have the wooden spoon. Now, when I went to a local farm for a birthday party this summer, and they made this ratatouille, which I've had it forever. I've always had ratatouille. It's wonderful. She made a cashew cream that she served on the top of it. And I went out of this world bonkers over this cashew cream. So I'm going to make some cashew cream for you right now. What I did is I got cashews and I soaked them, a cup of cashews, and I soaked them in water, just regular water, overnight. Now, if you're in a hurry and you forgot to soak your cashews, don't worry about it. Boil some water, soak the cashews, in a half an hour, they'll be done. Well, we got to get rid of that water. So let me get rid of that water. There we go. And we're going to put it in a blender. Cashews. Keep stirring this if it needs to be stirred. We're going to do some lemon juice. How do you get more juice from a lemon? How do you get more juice from a lemon? Roll it. You have that kind of can opener and you love it. Yeah, Tabitha, I love that can opener. I love that can opener. So I have my handy dandy lemon juicer that my lovely assistant Caitlin got for me because mine broke. Thank you, Caitlin. I thank you every time because I love it. And it really helps to get all of the juice out of the lemon. Now, you can use this lemon, the rest of this, disinfect your sink. I went on vacation last month and forgot to bring disinfectant. There wasn't any at the Airbnb. I always have lemons. I always put lemons in my water. I just cleaned the sink out for a couple of days until I got to the store with the lemons, because it'll disinfect the sink. It'll disinfect the garbage disposal if you put it down in the garbage disposal. And my dad, his whole life, always drank hot lemon water. And he says it disinfects your intestines. And it literally does. It really does. Okay, so we're going to put some lemon juice in there. I put the juice of the whole lemon. It's about 2 tablespoons, okay? I'm not about to measure that. Okay, we're going to put about a 1/4 teaspoon of some sea salt in there. Sea salt is full of minerals that your body needs. It's very healthy for your body. Whereas the sodium chloride is very processed and can cause a lot of high blood pressure. Okay, good. If you're having fun and you're learning something, put fun in the chat. Put fun in the chat if you are having fun and you're learning something. Forgot to put pepper over here, so we're going to put pepper. Now I want you to notice that over here, the only spices in here are salt and pepper, and then the fresh herbs. I have the thyme, the basil, and that's it. Thyme and basil. If you didn't have it fresh, you could always put in the dried. You could always put in dried. This is starting to come to pressure. I could hear it. I could hear it. Okay, so it's not, didn't start the timer yet. So what do we have? Lemon juice, salt, pepper, soaked cashews. I'm going to put it, you can do this with any blender, by the way. I have a Vitamix over here. You don't have to do it with a Vitamix. I am, because that's what I have. And we're going to make our wonderful cashew cream. Let me stir this one more time. This is should be done in maybe 5-10 minutes. Maybe 5 or 10 minutes should be done. Okay, be right back. Thank you. I'm so glad. Thank you. I need a little bit of liquid in here. And feel free to push it down. Feel free to push it down. There we go. Almost, almost. Yep, this needs a little bit more liquid. And you know what? If it's too thin, it's not a big deal. It's not a big, it'll still be absolutely delicious, but it's not going to be too thin. You can go in and let's do a close up on that, Caitlin, and you can see how thick it is, and I want it nice and creamy. So I just added a little bit more water. Can you see that? Yeah, so I want it a little thick, a little thinner. And let's see how this works. Sometimes you just need to take the tamper out and use the tamper. That is what it is for. That is what it's for. And the cream came out beautiful. I'm going to show it to you in just a second. Hold on. Let me put this down. Okay, let's get rid of that water and I'll show you the cream. I'm telling you, I just went bonkers when I had her ratatouille. I'm like, what did you do different? I had to go talk to the chef at this party. And she said, of course, it was all organic ingredients from the farm and fresh thyme, just like I'm doing here. And it was the cashew cream that she put on the top. I'm telling you, if you can make this, look, it took me what, all of 3 minutes to make this. Of course, I had to soak the cashews, but that's easy. Cashews, lemon juice, sea salt, pepper. Oh, wonderful, 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 wonderful. Of course, I have to get all of that delectable cashew cream off of the bottom of the pot of my my blender here, because I can't let any of that go to waste because it's so good. I guess I really like cashews. If you like cashews, let me know. Let me know if you really like cashews. Oh my goodness, I love cashews. And especially, who knew I'd love cashews so much in a cashew cream like this? Oh my goodness. Okay, so there we have it, our cashew cream and our ratatouille almost. Oh, did you hear that beep? It finally came to pressure and it has 8 more minutes. 8 more minutes. Now you can easily double any of these recipes, either of these recipes, and then get the remainder and freeze them. You can, they'll stay good in the refrigerator 5-6 days since it's just vegetables, but in the freezer it can stay good up to 6 months. Okay, so up to 6 months in the freezer, I would definitely do that. I'm going to wash my hands real quick. All right. Good. So there we have it. Let's see, what is next? What are we going to do next? We have to wait for our items to finish cooking. This is almost done, almost there, but let's work on some dessert. You ready to work on some dessert? Put dessert in the chat if you are ready to work on some dessert. Put dessert in the chat if you're ready to work on some dessert. Some dessert it is. Okay, we're going to turn that over. All right, we got dessert. Okay, so let's see what we have to do next. Let me move a couple of things out of the way because we do not need any more olive oil. And 6 more minutes over here. All right. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Blueberry cobbler. Blueberries are very high in antioxidants. They are phenomenal to boost your immune system and phenomenal to help keep your cells healthy, happy, and hopefully free of any kind of dis-ease, especially cancer. Okay. They're full of flavonoids, antioxidants, and I think they're anthocyanid. Yeah, anthocyanidins are in there as well, which are free radical busters. So they're about 4 cups of some organic blueberries that I washed up. Oh, I got a couple of desserts in there. Okay, so I washed those up and I'm going to prepare my pan. I'm going to prepare my pan. I'm just going to grease the bottom of it with a little bit of coconut oil. You can do butter if you want to. I have coconut oil right here, and I'm just going to put some coconut oil on the bottom here. You could put parchment paper if you are really afraid of it sticking or afraid of putting too much coconut oil. Coconut oil is something you should be eating on a normal basis. It's, again, like the garlic, it's immune boosting, antiviral, antibacterial, antimicrobial. Yeah, coconut oil. It's the way to go. It's the way to go. We're going to need that for the inside. So let's see. We got that ready. Let me put this aside. And we're going to use, in our blueberries, 1 tablespoon of tapioca flour. I don't use white flour because it's highly processed. It's full of bleach. We don't want any of that in our bodies. So I'm going to use some tapioca flour. There's no gluten in tapioca flour. Having suffered from Lyme disease, also having a sister who passed away from cancer, I'm very, very aware, and that's why I like to teach this kind of awareness to my students of things that could potentially cause cancer or potentially cause belly upset or stomach upset, okay? And gluten is one of them that can absolutely contribute to you not feeling well. And I want you to feel good. I want you to feel good the rest of your life. Tapioca flour. I'm going to use some maple syrup. If you don't want to use maple syrup, you could always use something like monk fruit, which is a sugar. It's a natural sugar from a fruit that they make into a powder. You could always use that. But I love the flavor of maple and blueberries together. So I'm going to use a little bit of maple syrup, and it's just a little bit. And get yourself some good pure maple syrup, not the other stuff that they sell on the shelves that is for pancakes. You know, we don't want that. Okay, we want some maple syrup. We're going to do some more lemon juice. You think I have a love affair with lemons because we go through lemons all day long. We are going through lemons. Okay, I want to get a light knife that didn't have garlic on it. So let's get a clean knife. Remember to roll your lemon, slice it up. Now, lemons and blueberries should marry each other. Lemons and blueberries should marry each other. They are so good together. They are so good together. I love them. By the way, do you notice that I'm tossing my food scraps over here? Do you have any clue what I'm doing with them? I am giving them back to Mother Earth. I'm throwing them in my compost pile because some of them I'll throw in the sink. But Mother Earth, she knows what to do with them. So I'm going to put all that lemon juice right in there. think I have a cut on my finger because it hurts right now. Ouch. That's okay. We got lemon juice. We're going to do just a smidgen widgeon of some water. Just a, you know what? The blueberries had a little water on them. I'll stir this up and see if I think I need more water because I didn't make sure that they were dry or anything. So they had a little bit of water in there. And we're going to do a teaspoon of some really good organic vanilla. Don't chintz yourself on vanilla. Get some really good vanilla, okay? Get some really good vanilla. And this is not in my recipe, but I'm going to teach it to you. Put a pinch of sea salt in there. Helps to pop the flavor. Helps to pop the flavor. You know, the other thing that you could do if you didn't have tapioca flour to help with this cobbler, if you had almond flour or coconut flour, I would put a tablespoon of almond flour or a teaspoon of coconut flour, and that will coat the blueberries and help separate them, okay? Because, you know, sometimes we don't have all the ingredients that we think we need, but you can always substitute, okay? We're just stirring that up, that's simple, and pouring them right. You know what? There's plenty of water in there. I don't need any extra water. I'm not going to put any extra water in there. I'm going to set that aside. And now we're going to make the filling. I'm going to use the same bowl because I have enough dishes to wash. There's no reason not to use the same bowl. Go back and stir. Remember to stir your ratatouille and practice rolling your R's. Ratatouille. I'm going to let this cook a little bit more. Some of the zucchinis are a little firm. Just a smidgen more. Let me do this and then we'll go back to that, okay? What do we have? 1 cup almond flour. I always buy my almond flour from Aldi's. They have it. It's not that expensive. And store your nuts, your flours, your almond flours, your coconut flours in the refrigerator. They can go rancid. That, my love, is the Instant Pot telling me that 8 minutes are up. I'm going to give it a few more minutes to kind of depressurize itself naturally for a few, and then I'll depressurize it manually in a little bit because I want to finish what I'm doing, and there's no harm letting it cook for a little bit longer because it's full of pressure right now, so it's still cooking, okay? All right, we have 3 tablespoons coconut oil, and since it's warm today, my coconut oil, I don't have to melt it or anything. It's coming right out of my jar, melted. There we go. 3 tablespoons coconut oil. 4 tablespoons maple syrup. I hope that I have enough. And if not, I could always substitute with honey or something called yacon syrup. Yacon syrup is kind of like honey and maple syrup married together, but it has 1/3 of the calories. So if you are diabetic, you have any kind of sugar issues and really just can't do maple syrup, try the monk fruit or try yacon syrup. I have some, I can show it to you if you want. Actually, let me show it to you right now. Yacon syrup. Here it is. Yeah, yacon syrup, again, it's 1/3 of the calories of honey, 1/3 of the calories of honey. So you can easily substitute that for the honey, or do a 1/4 teaspoon for the maple syrup of some vanilla, a little bit more vanilla. We're going to do a little bit of cinnamon. And I love cinnamon, love it, love it, love it. It calls for a teaspoon, and I think I just put in a whole heaping teaspoon. And we're going to do a pinch of salt again, just a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. That's it, 1/4 teaspoon salt. And we're going to mix all of this up. And this will be our topping for the blueberries. And let's see. What I should have done was turn the oven on in the beginning. I should have turned the oven on in the beginning, but that's okay. Let's cancel that. It's on bake, 350. And it's going to be for 20 minutes. It's going to preheat the oven. Should have done that. Always remember to preheat your oven at the beginning of a recipe, because by the time you've got everything ready, the oven will be ready. That's a convection oven, and it actually heats up super quick. It's an Emerald Lagasse little toaster oven that I got on sale, and I was really happy about it. And I'm actually very, very pleased with it. I bake in it all the time. And I've used the air fryer a couple of times, but it's really messy in that. Okay. Okay, so here's our topping. And never have enough of these silicone little spatulas, never. So what I want you to do now is to just plop it on top. You're not going to pour it, you're just going to get spoons of it and plop it. Okay. Why my silicone spatula? Because at the end, it's going to get up all of the stuff from the sides. Okay. There we go. I'm the kind of person, I like a lot of the topping. So what I would do in the future, and I've made this before, I don't know why I didn't double up the back. I would double up the topping on this, or maybe no, I would double up the topping. I was going to say less blueberries, but then you need a smaller pan and you don't want to have to deal with that. Okay. This is delicious, and we're going to serve it with some coconut cream that I'm going to make for you. Yep. All vegan cooking today. All vegan cooking. There you go. And that is going to go right into the oven. Now, this is going in the oven. I'm sorry, it's not going to be done, but you kind of get the idea. And I'm going to make you some coconut cream, whipped cream. We're going to make some coconut whipped cream. And what I love about my little oven, it'll actually start the timer once it's come to temperature. That's what you want. That's what you want. All right. Ratatouille is done. I'm just going to turn that off. I will serve that after we make the cream, the coconut cream. Let me get rid of some of the things. Actually, no, just leave those there. Coconut cream. It's in the fridge. I got to get my stuff out of the fridge. Hold on. Like, why are they in the fridge, Tina? Because you always want to chill your coconut milk in advance, chill your bowl in advance, and I always chill it upside down. You'll see why in a few moments. You'll see why in a few moments. Oh boy. You know what? I can use that still. That's fine. That's fine. What I want to do, this is an easy release lid. Okay. And what we're going to do is take out just the coconut milk I need for this soup. So I'm going to pour the liquid into that same container that had the spices for the soup, because it doesn't matter, right? Let's just put that over there. Oh my goodness. My refrigerator is a little cold, so that's a big frozen piece of liquid. That's okay. But I want the solid stuff, not the liquid, out of the can. I want the solid stuff out of the can. Put the liquid someplace else. Drink it, put it in smoothies, but it is not good for your coconut whipped cream. Okay. I think I sent that home to you, sent that message home. Oh boy, am I out of spatulas? Might have to wash a spatula for this because I need a spatula to make this happen. Always refrigerate your coconut milk ahead of time. And this is actually heavy cream. It's coconut cream. So if you get coconut milk, half of the can is cream anyway. There we go. All right, I'll get the rest of that out of there later and throw it in there or something. Okay, here we go. We've got that going. What do I need? I need another spatula. That's fine. We'll get a small spatula, a longer spatula. We're gonna get our hand blender. You have to do this with a hand blender, okay? And we're going to get our chilled things here. What do you call these? Oh my gosh, sometimes I forget the word in English. All right, here we go. Don't put anything in the coconut cream. Do not put anything in that cream. Just whip it up. And then once it's whipped, then you can add a little sugar, like the monk fruit. You can add a little honey. You can add a little vanilla. You can add a little pinch of salt. You can add whatever you want, cinnamon. But don't do it until you whipped it up. If you put it all in there now, it'll fail. And trust me, I had enough coconut cream failures. They're still delicious. They just weren't creamy. Fluffy, like whipped cream. They weren't whipped. But yeah, so don't put anything in there until you've whipped this up beautifully. Okay. Now, coconut, I don't know if you can hear me. I'll wait. It's creamy, right? It's fluffy. That's what we want. Now I can put a little bit of vanilla. And if you want, you can put a little monk fruit, a little bit of honey. I am going to put a little bit of vanilla in there. And maybe, what about some maple syrup? Why not? Let's stay with the maple syrup theme. Just a little bit. You don't want a lot. That's maybe a half a teaspoon I put in there. Coconut is sweet already, so you don't need too much sweetener. Let me whip that up. Yeah, pinch of salt. There we have it, our perfect coconut whipped cream. Perfect coconut whipped cream. And it'll go beautifully on top of that blueberry cobbler. And I'm sorry you won't get to see it because it's going to take a little longer for it to cook, but you'll put a big dollop of this on top of it and serve it to your family, to your friends, or store it in little containers and put it in the freezer, even with the coconut cream on top, and have it as your wonderful pleasure of ice cream cobbler in the freezer. It's wonderful. Like, trust me, it is a delicious, nutritious, anti-cancer dessert. Better than any ice cream that you could ever get. Invite your family, invite your friends over because they will absolutely love it. All right, you ready to serve up some soups? You ready to serve up some soups? Now, as I'm doing this, I just want to say I have a free gift for you. Caitlin is going to put the link in the chat. It's www.tinamcdermott.com/JG, which stands for Joyful Gut. It's my Joyful Gut Reboot Guide. It's a guide that I wrote just for you to teach you all of the basics that you need to learn to have a happy, joyful gut, free of gas and bloating and constipation and all of those other things. Okay, so you agree with the blueberry lemon marriage. I love that. I absolutely love that. That's wonderful. All right, so let's serve up some food here. Let's serve up some food. First, we're going to serve up our ratatouille with some cashew cream sauce. And I'll tell you, even if you eat the sprigs of thyme, they will be delicious. So you're going to serve that up in a bowl like so, and put a big old dollop of cashew cream right there on the top and serve it up to your family and your friends. And you have a wonderful, organic, plant-based, delicious dinner that you and your family will love. Ratatouille with cashew cream. Okay, let's put this aside and let's take a look at our soup. Let's take a look at our soup and our delicious yellow squash soup. It is still pressurized. So what I need to do is take my cloth, and the steam will burn you. So you see I have the cloth on top, and I just pushed the nozzle forward to release the steam. Now, while that is releasing, the smell is out of this world. Oh, it's so delicious. I'm going to put together my immersion blender. If you don't have an immersion blender, yes, you can transfer this to a regular blender and blend it up. But let me tell you, you can get an immersion blender for 20 bucks, maybe, if you get some Bed Bath & Beyond coupons, maybe even less. It is worth it. I might use it once a month, but still, I use it and I love my immersion blender. So once that is depressurized, I'm going to put the stick blender right in there and blend it all up. Let me get our bowl ready. And oh, I'm going to put the coconut milk in there as well. And when we serve it, we're going to serve it with some toasted sunflower seeds. I literally put them on my stoneware bar pan, put it right in the toaster oven and hit toast. I hit toast for like 4 minutes and let them toast up. I store these in my refrigerator. Remember, nuts and seeds, they can go rancid. So you see, if it's fully pressurized, it won't let me release the lid. Once it's depressurized, it'll let me release the lid. There you go. Lots of steam. Be careful. All right, set that aside. And now I'm going to get my immersion blender right in there. Okay, there we go. If you're blending and you're lifting it up, it will splash you. So turn it off if you have to lift it up. I would lift this whole thing up and bring it over here. Let me see if I can actually do that so you can maybe see it a little bit better. Can you see this? Oh, I almost forgot. Coconut milk. Put some coconut milk in there. Now, as I'm doing this, I would love to know, what have you found most valuable about our time together today? What is that one thing that you're going to take away from all of this? And I'm almost done. Almost done. That's it. It is done. It is done. Go ahead and ladle it into a beautiful bowl. I'm telling you, invite your friends over. I'm inviting my friends over tonight to help me eat this. And look how pretty that is. Now, you could put a little cashew cream on there if you wanted to. You can serve it with a little cashew cream. Serve it with a little bit of those sunflower seeds. Holy cow, those sunflower seeds make this soup amazing. And then on the top, you could always put a little bit of parsley. Chop up some parsley, put some parsley leaves or even cilantro on the top, and that will make it absolutely delicious and super, 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 super healthy and anti-cancer. And yes, parsley helps to detox the liver. So it's really, and it's a nice addition to the top of your soup. So there we have it, our butternut squash soup with sunflower seeds and a little parsley. You can even do cilantro on the top if you'd rather. All right, well, thank you very, very, very much for being here with me today. Let's see, the replacement for honey. I'm not sure how to spell it. Yacon, I'll tell you. Y-A-C-O-N, Yacon syrup. It's a little on the expensive side, but it's worth it if you are not allowed to have honey. Yeah, Yacon syrup. Everything looks amazing. Thank you. Oh, you're so welcome. You know, I want to say thank you for being here today and watching my cooking show here at Tina's Joyful Kitchen. And I just want to say, yeah, until next time, namaste. Bye for now, everyone. Have a great day. Bye for now.